Hi, I'm Laura and welcome to Book Bubbler. I thought I would do a quick, hopefully quick, video for my pile of possibilities for nonfiction November. Thanks to Kazen of Always Doing for the pile of possibilities little phrase. That's really apt for me. And thanks to Olive of a Book Olive for hosting Nonfiction November. So getting right into it. My first on this pile is The Regency Underworld by Donald A. Lowe. This was originally published in, I believe, 1989 or 1990, and this edition is from 2000, so it's out of print now, unfortunately. It took me a while to find a copy that was under $30. I was looking, but it's nice illustrations throughout to get ideas of what things were like then. So this is about pleasure seekers and criminals, among them gamblers, pickpockets, brothel keepers, and body snatchers. All indulged themselves with little restraint until the coming of the Metropolitan Police Act in 1829 curbed their more obvious activities. So this should be a little interesting, different kind of view of what real people were like during the Regency period in London. Next on my list is The Names by N. Scott Momaday. He's a Native American who won the Pulitzer in 1968 for his first novel called Housemaid of Dawn. I scored this one in a library book sale. I can't imagine why they were getting rid of it, but it should be really interesting. This will cover his life from, I think, until the age of 14, living in New Mexico on reservations, and his family and all sorts of stuff. Another thing that's nice about this edition is that it's illustrated, which is really great, but the ink, I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not. I'm just going to zoom in here and hope you can see. The ink is dark brown. It's not black. So everything about this book is a little softer and it feels a little more old-fashioned automatically just by just that ink choice. So this should be really interesting. I'm looking forward to reading more about it. Growing up, we always learned, my mom and dad, grandmother, everyone was always very interested in Native Americans, in history, in different tribes all around the U.S., their rights, or I should say lack of rights, probably most of all. My grandmother was friends with several Native Americans when she was a little girl in the woods of Wisconsin. I think they gave her a nickname. Of course, I can't remember what it is right now. I'll ask my mom and report back if you're interested. But so we always learned about Native Americans. That was something has been an interest in my family for a long time. So that book should really be a good one to get into. My mom has already read that one and loved it, so I think I'll like it too. Okay, next up is The Red Virgin and the Vision of Utopia by Mary M. and Bryan Talbot. This is a graphic novel, nonfiction, about Louise Michel, the revolutionary feminist dubbed the Red Virgin of Montmartre, utopian dreamer, notorious anarchist, teacher, orator, and poet. She was decades ahead of her time. Always a radical, she fought on the barricades defending the short-lived Paris Commune of 1871 against the reactionary regime that massacred thousands of French citizens after the Commune's defeat. So this should be really interesting too. Someone I had not heard of previously. This was in a Landfall Freight subscription box, RAP Landfall Freight. That was such a great box. And they sent so many wonderful comics and books and bookish nerdy stuff. I mean, I really loved it. I'm sorry it's gone, but this is still on my shelves to read, so I'm looking forward to getting to this one. Next up is Edisons Eve by Gaby Wood. This is about robotics, essentially, starting in the 1800s. I first became interested in this topic after reading, was it The Life of Hugo Cabret? Is that what it is? The Invention of Hugo Cabret? You know what book I mean. I should have looked this up before I started this. That's all right. Anyway, so this has been on my shelves unread for probably at least 10 years now, and it's about time I got to it. It should be really interesting. I keep saying interesting, but I'm a curious person and most things interest me. So it's about Edison. Oh, 1769. Yeah, I don't know, but it sounds good, so I'll give it a crack. Next is The Good Food Revolution by Will Allen. He's a former pro basketball player, and this is set in Milwaukee, where I live. He developed Growing Power, which was in a, is it called food desert? Just convenience stores and things. So he bought 2 acres of land in urban Milwaukee on the north side and made Growing Power, this sustainable, fresh fish and vegetable, all organic, hydroponic, I believe, compound. Helped people in the neighborhood out, sold to restaurants. Yeah, it should be really good. I think it's about his life too, not just Growing Power. So this should be really interesting, a little bit local for me too. After that is a little bit of a chunkster here. That's The Verneys by Adrian Tinniswood. Very, very lightly illustrated, which is a little bit of a bummer. I love looking at pictures of people so I can really see them more in my mind. But let's see. In this extraordinary saga, Adrian Tinniswood draws on tens of thousands of letters which survived by chance in an attic to reveal the remarkable world of the Verneys, a family of Buckinghamshire gentry in the 17th century. So this rolls through absolutely everyone. This should be a good narrative, nonfiction, narrative history account of this family who I've never heard of. I'm a big Anglophile. That's also from my parents and my grandparents too. So any kind of British anything I am into just by default. But this one should really be interesting, especially since it's set with real people in a real place. I don't know if the house is still standing. I'll have to look that up later on. But this should be really interesting. A little look at British life in the 1700s. Just 2 more to go. This is Harris's List of Covent-Garden Ladies by Hallie Rubenhold. So Harris's List of Covent-Garden Ladies, in case you didn't know, I'd heard of it referenced in several books before, but didn't know it was a real thing until I saw this on my friend Leah's Litsy page. Hi Leah, I'm sure she's not watching, but hi anyways. A bestseller of the 18th century, shifting 250,000 copies, and an age before mass consumerism. An annual guidebook and published at Christmas time, it detailed the names and quote-unquote specialties of the capital's prostitutes. During its heyday, Harris's List was the essential accessory for any serious gentleman of pleasure. So this is a little cherry-picked sort of best of, I believe, list of listings from Harris's List. So this should be really kind of cute and interesting. And yeah, I don't know what it is about it, but I really enjoy reading about courtesans and prostitutes. And clearly I just had that book about the underworld. I don't know what it is because I am not that kind of person normally in life, but that's okay. It's interesting to read about this kind of stuff. So this should be a quick little short entertaining read. And then last but certainly by no means least, on Tyranny. I have had this for 3 years now, almost 4, and it's unread. So enough said, I should really get to it. So let's see if I can pick this up. Here is my pile of possibilities. Whoa, okay, don't tip it. Oh my gosh. Knowing me, I will have probably read 1 or 2 of these books, and the rest will still be sitting as on my TBR at the end of November, but that's okay. I read nonfiction throughout the year, and I tend to put something in a book list or put it in a pile and then not want to read it anymore. So we will see how this all goes, but I'm looking forward to seeing what everyone else ends up reading at the end of the month, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you can subscribe, and I will figure out what I'm doing here as I go. Thanks. Bye.